coastal erosion definitely is a major, major issue, especially around the coastal cities, from south to north. And a lot of people don't realize the economic impact that it has, not only on those cities or the county, but it does with the state. Now, my district has Dana Point, San Clemente, San Juan Capistrano, Oceanside. These are major tourist cities. And so a lot of the revenue comes from TOT tax. It comes from
the hotels and the beach.
Right, exactly. Retail, hotels, hospitality. And if you don't have beaches, because with coastal erosion, what's happening is taking our sand away. And so if you don't have beaches, you don't have people that want to stay there. They're going to go to a place where the beach is so they can leave their hotel and walk out in the sand, put the towel down, have the family, and enjoy the beach itself. So it's very important, and we are losing our beaches. So one of the main issues with that is getting funding for it, as well as making sure that we're doing the right thing. And so what I've been doing is, as an assembly member, my job is policy up there. And so what I did is I sat down with different organizations such as Save Our Beaches, Save Oceanside Sand, but I also sat down with the top geologists because they really understand why this is happening. And I'm like, as a legislator, what kind of work can we do in our policy to help you and also help save our beaches? I had two bills that have been passed just recently. Number one is they said, there are grants that will come, but when you get a grant, sometimes you don't get that grant until the end of the year, so it can take a while. And you want to start that project sooner than later. So what this will do is if you are approved for a state grant, you will automatically get 25% of that funding up front. So you can start the design, you can start the project, and you can get it moving. Obviously, the sooner we start it, the sooner we're going to get it done, but we're also going to be saving more sand. And so that is law now, which is great. Another issue was you work with the Coastal Commission. They have a lot of different permits they're looking at, or a lot of approvals, but they don't always have the experience there, especially when it comes to a geologist, or perhaps they're looking at a permit or an approval to have something developed. They need to have that expertise. So now the use of using an expertise such as a geologist or perhaps a developer, someone that actually knows and has worked and has experience, they can use them for getting their information so they can make a good, clear decision because they haven't always had that. So that passed as well. So we're really happy on that. So it's really important to me in our district that coastal erosion, that people understand that, because what happens is if we don't have that revenue going into the cities, then it's not going to the main places such as public safety and infrastructure, and that's where most of the revenue is put into the local cities. Also, that revenue won't be going to the counties, and it won't be going to the state. So what happens is if you have a city that is having problems, basically having revenue, they're going to have to go to the state for bailout or help. That is then funding that is taking away from other cities, other districts that have other issues, such as Central California, where you have, the drought. They have water issues. Northern California has their issues. So it does affect every district in the entire state when we have issues like this. And coastal erosion has actually kind of hit its peak. And it's really important that people understand throughout the state. And that's what I did with the legislators. I belong to a group called the Problem Solvers. It's a bipartisan group of both parties, Assembly and Senate, both floors. And we were able to bring them down here because I realized they don't really understand the issue if they don't have to live it, just like we may not understand the issues that they're dealing with. When people are informed, they can make good decisions. And so we brought 30 of them down. We put them on 3 harbor patrol boats. We had geologists on every boat. We were able to take them down by San Clemente, show them that, number one, where we have houses red tagged. They're red tagged because literally there used to be volleyball area, basketball courts. Now there is no beach whatsoever. The waves are going right up to the cliffs, which is then little by little eroding. And so these homes, I doubt very much they're going to be able to do much because there just isn't much at this point you can do. And so showing them that effect and the cost, not to mention Lausanne Rail is the rail that goes from St. Louis Obispo all the way down into San Diego. Billions of dollars go through that, the trades and goods that we have going over there. And all we have is the 5 freeways, so there isn't a lot of other options of getting it there. You also, though, have national security with Camp Pendleton there. You have commuters going back and forth, and you have the tourism. And so that rail was shut down almost 10 months a year ago.
Because of erosion,
because of the waves are actually now hitting the rocks and going up onto the rail. So we have all these issues that are affecting the economy, and that's really why, bringing that to people's attention and then having the opportunity to bring other electeds throughout the state down. When they left, they're like, if I wouldn't have seen it, I wouldn't have understood it. And now I understand why it's so important that we do help pass good policy that is going to give you the tools that you need and your district needs, as well as others, to hopefully stop this. And there is one other big important part. 30% of the sand we're losing is because of development. And many, many years ago, before you would have sediment coming from rivers and streams from inland coming out and then coming back in. That was producing sand as well. But with environmental policy made many years ago, they said, no, we're going to dam it up. We don't want that, as they were calling it, toxic sediment through. So that's something that actually can be done, and that's something that I'm working on right now. You can talk to Scripps, you can talk to UCI, and they understand. But these were laws that were made so long ago. We have come up with so much more technology of making sure we have clean sediment, and that looking on policy, how do we turn that so that we can get that sediment coming out, making sure that it's safe and it's clean.
And it's naturally
It's natural, right, but making sure that it is safe, that's something I'm working on right now. So for me, it's coming up with common sense solutions that are going to actually make a huge difference from now on. And that's what we're doing. So
now, in terms of the homes that are in those areas and the infrastructure, how serious is this issue? Like, is it going to impact more homes, you think?
It could easily, because it's going to continue going back until we can, make sure that we do have sand on the beach, which is one of the big solutions of stopping the coastal erosion. But also, there are different techniques. And Oceanside, which I represent, they did a contest and they put it out worldwide and said, come up with a way, because they're dealing with that as well. And there are things you can put reefs, out there that are like fake reefs that would stop the flow constantly coming this way. There's different ways that we can do it. For over here, say San Clemente may not work for what's working in Oceanside, so you have to be very careful. But they ended up with a company that's doing a project, which I would recommend check out, because it's exciting to see what they're doing. But to solve the problem, they've been using this in, I think it's Australia, for some time, the project that they're putting through right now. But it's really just never stopping. But right now, basically the Band-Aid is making sure that we have sand replenishment. For me, it's always making sure the information is out there. In order to get people that want to help you with your cause, you have to make sure they understand, how it's going to affect them and the passion behind it. Our area is an icon. We're known for the surfers, the top surfing contests. We've got the top surfing professionals coming out of San Clemente. We don't want to lose this because, again, that's revenue that comes in there with some of the top surfing contests. So, we just want to make sure that we can hopefully work on more and more things that are going to not only keep the tourism coming, but also stop the erosion where the homes are, and just make it, keep it the Southern California that we know.